Impact, your one source for fracture management products.
Okay, now we're going to demonstrate a long leg cast. I'm going to put this on in two parts. The first part will be the short leg, which is pretty similar to all short legs. One thing we're going to do different is two sections of stockinette. One 3-inch for the lower leg, and you can put a 4-inch for the upper leg, and you can adjust to the size of the person, obviously. If you can get a 3-inch all the way up, that is great, less wrinkles. Once again, we always try to get the foot in the right angle, but on a long leg cast, we don't need to achieve that quite as much. But once again, if you're in a long leg cast or the cast for a long period of time, the gastroc will shrink and contract, and you'll have to deal with that. It's very difficult for the patient. So anytime you can get them in neutral, better for the patient. Dart. Once again, the excess material, I always kind of take the dog ear off. Pad just like I would do for all the other casts. Figure 8 around the ankle. Be redundant as much as you can around the ankle, the heel. Got to protect the malleoli from rubbing and the Achilles area from rubbing. Then we're going to work our way up the leg to the knee. I like to go stop just above the tibia tuberosity. Pad very well to protect around the fibula, because you have the perineal nerve that cuts in across here. Come back down to protect the tibia crest. Go back up. Start wrapping distally, work up proximally. Once again, taking a nice wide, I like a 4-inch. You go right through the whole ankle, you get as little wrinkles as possible. I'm not worried about weight bearing through the foot, because it'll be a bent knee cast, so I don't have to put as much in the foot area. But to protect the toes, I always cut back so you can see what's going on in the cast. Toes are great indicators what's going on in the cast. Go to the next roll. Set up a little bit, then we'll continue up the leg. Now we're going to continue up the leg. You notice I have the stockinette. I make sure there's not any wrinkles in the stockinette as much as possible. Right here is where we stopped with the short leg part of the cast. We'll just continue adding padding right here. Our next bony prominence is the kneecap. Pad that well. Maybe a couple different direction pads. Incorporate all that into the padding and bring it up to the thigh. Once again, the cuff has to be pretty thick to protect the patient. Enough padding to protect the patient from the cast itself. And we're going to proceed with the cast, starting on the cast itself. So we have a nice transition area that's smooth to the patient. You notice we get about a 30-degree bend. We can actually go up to about 45 on the average patient. This is for a non-weight bearing long leg cast. If we're going to do a weight bearing long leg cast, you'd have about 5 to 10 degrees of flexion in the knee. Bring the cast material just with a slight little tug on it up here so We have good contact with the upper part of the leg. Fold the edges down. Start right here. Get that edge down. Make sure you're not overshooting your boundary here a little bit. And bring it back down over the knee where we will concentrate on this part of the cast. Make sure the reinforcement is really good. At this point, we're essentially done with the cast, but we're going to make sure the strength of the cast by putting a roll from the proximal end to the distal end of the cast when the cast is set up. And this is all to make it one uniform part of the cast. And I'll just hold the cast, making sure there's no wrinkles that form up here in the patella tendon area. It's very necessary to hold the cast still while it's setting up so you don't get any wrinkles in fiberglass. Wrinkles in fiberglass are more difficult on the patient than a regular wrinkle in plaster, so we have to be very careful on this. Why we pad the knee very well is because you can see it right here. The best efforts of everyone, you still get these little minor wrinkles in the transition between the short leg cast into the long leg cast. Why you pad well? There are fibula heads right about here, the nerve crosses right through here, the perineal nerve. If you don't have a lot of padding, even though these are probably very small wrinkles, they can rub up against the skin, pinch off the nerve, and you can get numbness in the foot, and that would not be a good thing.